Welcome back, everybody. This is People Wonder, and you're watching my All the Mods 9 playthrough. First off, I just want to thank everybody that's been joining me through this journey for all of the support and encouragement I've gotten. Last episode, we built a wood farm, and you can see it there in the background doing its business. And second off, I want to apologize for the audio issues I was having previously. I ended up finding out that my mic was broken. So I purchased a new mic, I got a boom arm, a shock stand, and just generally revamped my entire audio setup. So hopefully you'll be noticing I sound much better in this episode, and that horrible buzzing noise is going to be gone. And yeah, here we can see my wood farm in action, doing exactly what it's supposed to. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed that intro that I made for you. Those things take quite a while, but definitely worth it. I think they're totally epic. So anyways, for this episode, I was thinking a couple of things. First off, I was thinking we could start right here, and we could start rebuilding this area where I had all of my create stuff. As you guys know, I kind of tore this apart before I began building my wood farm over there. But I started taking inventory of my resources, and I noticed that I was running pretty low on iron. Yeah, this is all my iron here. So I think we're going to take a different route this episode, and we're going to work on our passive resource generation. And we're going to be using mystical agriculture. So you guys might already know that I have my mystical agriculture area set up over here. And what I was thinking is we're going to take this plot of land right here, and since we no longer need it because we have Insanium bees producing essence way faster than this Inferium farm ever could, well, we're just going to take this apart and we are going to repurpose it for my iron and gold setup. So you guys will be able to see how I make those farms, or anyways, how I make the seeds for those farms. It's actually pretty simple. The first thing you're going to need is one of these altars right here, an infusion altar. And you just get some prosperity seeds, and you throw that in there. And then you take the resource, whatever resource you plan on growing, and you put 4 of them alternating. It doesn't matter if it's in the corner or top and sides. It just needs to alternate. And then wherever you don't have the resource, you put your essence. This is a 3rd tier essence, so we need the tertium. And then you'll see it says iron seeds right there. We just click on that, and it goes ahead and forms it. And here we have an iron seed. So I need to do this 18 times. I need to do it, well, actually 36 times, but 18 times for the iron and another 18 times for the gold. So we'll cut back when I'm done doing all of this. And we're back. So I've got all of my iron and gold seeds now, and we'll just head over here and we'll go ahead and start taking apart this farm. I'm actually just going to leave this thing running because it can be a little bit annoying to turn them off and turn them back on. And I've actually got some exciting news. So one of my friends ended up getting in touch with me after he saw that I was making content, and he asked if I wanted to start doing collaborative efforts with him. And after a short call on Discord, we came to the agreement that we might want to start doing a Greg Tech server together. So Greg Tech might be coming a little bit sooner than I thought. But that leaves me with a little bit of a moral crisis here. I definitely wanted to at least get to the All the Mods star with you guys before I swapped over to Greg Tech. But on the other hand, this was supposed to just be like a training wheel series, so to speak, just to kind of, get me ready between video editing and with the audio setup I've been messing with, and all that learning curve for Greg Tech, because I want to be able to deliver top tier quality content when I start making that. I don't want to be, scrambling around, so to speak, when I'm making that stuff. And I definitely feel like I've learned a lot when it comes to video editing. Doing those montages, you may have noticed I was doing some zooming and some panning, some fade ins, some fade outs. There's just, even compared to the first montage I did, there was a lot that I had learned. You may have noticed I was doing it to the music, and that requires some pretty heavy editing. I can't always promise that I'm gonna have epic intros, but you know, I definitely can when it seems right. Again, that type of editing takes a lot of time. And you might notice I'm just putting some growth accelerators down here. All these are again mystical agriculture, and as the name implies, they speed up the growth of everything above it. So the inferium goes up to 12 blocks above it, and the prudentium does up to 24 blocks above it, so double. So you have to do inferium on top and prudentium on bottom. And yeah, I never filled this out when we were just doing the inferium essence farm, but again, with the Insanium bees, I have enough essence now that I can basically spam these guys indefinitely and not have to think twice about it. So that's kind of nice. There we are. I believe that's 12. Uh, I'm not too concerned if I'm one short. So yeah, anyways, now we are producing the essences from the gold and the iron. It should be going into one of these barrels. Yeah, the gold essence right there. That's going to get deposited into here. Eventually. I'm actually going to go ahead and swap this drawer out. Sending it straight into the AE system. Yeah, we want to avoid that for now. I am going to revamp this setup. Oh, but I need to check out and see. So if I type in gold essence, we can look and see that if we put it, you know, 8 without 1 in the middle, we get gold ingots. And I'm really hoping it's the same thing with the iron. Yep, and it is. Okay, so we're in luck. We're actually going to be able to produce both gold and iron with a single mechanical crafter, which we're going to be using to turn the essence into ingots before we ever even send it into the AE system. So I'm going to go ahead and make a mechanical crafter. And okay, and we went ahead and we grabbed those parts. And you'll see I grabbed a few others. I believe we have what we need now to get started with our setup. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this 2x2 orc drawer right here. And yep, the iron ingots will go in, the gold, and there should be fertilized essence, I hope. Yep, it went in. I seen that. And we want to go ahead and lock that. Otherwise, it's entirely possible that this entire thing could get filled up with one resource. And then we have our mechanical crafters here. We'll just go ahead and place it in the pattern, kind of as if you were placing it in your crafting inventory. And we'll use our configurator here as a wrench. And we'll spin this guy around. Make sure that goes that way. That goes that way. Just getting this set up here. For any of you that are familiar with Create, sorry if this bores you. But I'm sure there's plenty of people watching that have no idea what I'm doing. But basically, yeah, you have to make sure they all end up in the same spot. This is a pretty basic pattern, so you can just kind of send it however. Then that's going to dump it straight into the chest there. And let me grab some logistical sorters and logistical pipes. So the logistical sorter is really nice in this setup, and I'll show you why. We'll go ahead and grab a gold essence, come over here, grab an iron essence. Then when we go in here to make our filter, we do our item stack, you know, set it for gold, cool. But then we can set this so that it sends no less than 8 and no more than 8. And that's going to be very critical in our setup. And I'm just going to go ahead, I think it's the size mode that matters, but I turn all of these on whenever I'm doing like number sensitive operations. And we'll go ahead and we'll do the same thing for the iron essence. And basically all this is doing is we're telling it we only want it to send, you know, 8 at a time instead of 1, or any number other than 8. And the reason, you know, we're doing 8 is because we need 8 in our crafter. We wouldn't have to worry too much about sending it 1 at a time if we were only doing, you know, 1 item. Ooh. Whoops. If we were only doing 1 item in our setup here. However, we are not just doing 1 item. I think it actually wants me to use the create wrench here. Yep, there it is. So, and then we can join all these together. So basically the inventory becomes 1, and I only need 1 transporter to go in. We'll put that right there. And you can see it's already, you know, sending stuff. I like to, of course, always do the pull and the push. Not really necessary, especially when you have a logistical sorter already hooked up to it. But again, it's just one of those things I like to do. And we're going to go backwards from here. So you need a cogwheel to transfer the rotational force in. We'll put that right there. And then we're going to use a vertical gearbox. And I've already got a rotational force, you know, in the basement, I guess we can call it, for these mechanical crafters. So we just got to go down, you know, far enough to find that. Maybe over a little bit. Yeah, see, I can see the growth accelerators. So, oh, we'll have to find out how I routed all of this in the first place. Okay, you can see it goes back here, right here. So somewhere right in this area. Yeah, okay, perfect. Just like that. Perfect. So we'll grab a gearbox here, and we'll pull off of this since this is already going at the speed that I want it to. Break that right there. Put that there. Fortunately, direction doesn't matter, so I don't have to, you know, like spin it back around so that the mechanical crafters work properly. They just need rotational force. Since, you know, they're already configured where the one, you know, goes into the other. So yeah, direction doesn't matter. It's pretty nice. Whereas if you're doing like a farm, the direction is a little more critical. And yeah, so as you can see, boom, there it is. And it dumps the gold right into this chest. And I think I've shown you guys this before. But just to, you know, cover all my bases, that's going into, yeah, this chest right here. And I've got an AE bus on the bottom of it, collecting all the resources and putting it into the AE system. And we want to, again, double check one thing before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Because we'll notice, yeah, the iron, you know, it doesn't have any storage upgrades, doesn't have any utility upgrades. So it can store, you know, 41.5 thousand nuggets, or however many ingots that is. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. But we'll want to upgrade this a little bit. I mean, we don't have to get too carried away. If we do, you know, 2 copper storage upgrades in each, that, I mean, basically makes it infinite. No, I mean, technically it's not infinite. And then we always do void upgrades to kind of, you know, back us up, because the last thing we want is, you know, I'm playing on the server forever and ever, right? And we end up filling up these drawers, even though they have 2 storage upgrades. And we end up filling up our AE system, and it completely shuts down our AE system. And I'm having a tough time, you know, making another AE system to try and troubleshoot what's filling my disks up, because I can't even access the system that I have. Yeah, it's a tragedy. You want to avoid it. Just use those voiding upgrades, and you'll be able to avoid all of that. And yeah, we can see the gold is quickly filling up, and we'll be using a lot of that when we upgrade our induction matrix over here. I'm looking forward to that. I want to make that much larger than it is. It currently stores 80 giga FE, which is far more than I will ever need. But yeah, why not do more if we can, right? And eventually we won't just be doing nuclear. Eventually I do want to do fusion. So we're kind of looking forward to that. And another thing I wanted to cover this episode, so you guys already know, I got these Insanium bees over here, but we've only got 1 hive with the expansion box, and in that hive we still have space for another bee. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that spot, and I'm going to do a whole nother hive. So we need to create more Insanium bees, and this is a little bit of an involved process. I got to figure out how we do this again. I know that you make the Inferium bee spawn egg in the incubation, and you have to have, you do the infusion crafting with the Prosperity bee spawn egg. Yeah, and there it is. You need the genes from Prosperity bees to make the Prosperity bee spawn egg. Now, the thing about the Prosperity bees is they can't breed on their own. Yeah, the species cannot breed amongst themselves. So basically, oops. What we're going to do is we're going to put the baby upgrades on these hives. You'll give me just a moment. And before you know it, we'll have more of these bees than we know what to do with. And we're going to crush them over here in the bottler. I have 37 glass bottles ready to go. Looks like I need more eggs. Those are actually a little bit of a pain since I don't have a chicken farm. And I know I do have some genes ready to go. Crystalline, not quite. Redstone, not quite. Yeah. So anyways, we just need to wait for those bees to spawn, and I'll cut back once we've got some of those bees, and I'll crush them up, and I'll start making the Insanium bees. Okay, so we've waited a little bit of time now, and I've bred up some of these crystalline bees. I'm gonna go ahead and breed some more while we're at it, before we start crushing these guys. So then I'm just gonna capture all the adults in here. So there's 4. Yep, there he is. We're gonna take this guy over here. And again, you know, we got this bottler here, so... Oh! Almost made a mistake. That's okay, we can fix it. We gotta turn the crystalline bees into Prosperity bees before we crush them. Definitely a mistake I've made before. But that's okay, we caught ourselves. Catching these guys can be a little bit difficult. I got him. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it for all of them real quick. I always like to go straight up for that roof right there. Okay, so you just put the prosperity bee down right there, and then you gotta crush them in time. And this way is pretty annoying. If anybody knows a better way of doing this, drop your suggestion down in the comments. I would be happy to hear it. I have not figured out a better way to do this yet. Yep, you just drop them right there, crush them. And then these bottles go into the centrifuge, which breaks it down into like the genetic components, which then gets sent into the gene indexer, which kind of puts it all together. And yeah, you need roughly 4 bees to make, you know, one of any gene sample, right? So if I crush up 4 prosperities, you know, I mean, it's kind of RNG too, but I should get a full gene sample for the prosperity, which I can then use to make the spawn egg. Yeah, you gotta be quick about it. Apparently I am not. Got him. Drop that in there. And yeah, this next one should do it. There it is. I have 2. I always like to keep 1 down here, just so when another one gets indexed, it ends up down here, and I know it's finished. All my finished genes are down here. And I ended up making more eggs off camera. So we got 7 eggs in there. And all we got to do is we take a honey treat, we put it right there, we mix it with the full prosperity gene sample. Then we throw that in there. And this takes a little while. Even though I do have the 4 speed upgrades, it does take a second. Yeah, like I said, I'm constantly getting bombarded by these guys. Okay, so now we have the prosperity bee spawn egg. I'll go ahead and clean up my inventory a little bit. Oh, I want to do that. And you guys may have noticed that I already have my inventory set up to fully upgrade these bees, 6 of them, in fact. Just with the amount of waiting it takes, though, to get each bee, I probably won't end up doing all 6 bees. But yeah, we'll be continuously working towards it as time goes on. I'll just, you know, do 1 at a time as we get enough bees to do so. But all you gotta do is you put the essence down, and then you put the blocks down, you know, every other, just like you do any other resource, and then you click that. And that turns the prosperity into inferium. Then you gotta pick it up, put it back down, and do the same thing for prudentium, tertium, and every tier. All the way up to insanium. So, yep. Again, that's the prudentium. Go ahead and get the tertium stuff real quick. And we'll do this for every tier. Okay, and we have the insanium bee spawn egg now. And all we have to do is take this over to our insanium bee area and pop that guy down. And there you have it. So I actually already made another bee earlier, so we've got all 5 bees in that hive now. And I went ahead and made another hive with an expansion box. We'll go ahead and place that down. And now I can actually show you guys how I do my little setup for the bees here. Ooh, I don't color it. I push that. So that should be delivering glass bottles into it. And what I'm doing is I take the honey bottle. I'll need a couple of logistical sorters for this. Let me go ahead and grab those. Some transporters. And I take the honey bottles out of the bottom. Like that. I might eventually have another hive here, so I'll go ahead and put it here. I want to make sure it gets connected to that pipe there. Place that down. Make sure these aren't attached. Like that. And bring it all the way up so it mirrors the other side there. Make sure those aren't attached. Set this to pull, even though it's not necessary. I just think it looks good. And then we'll go back behind it. Another logistical sorter. Hold up. Right there. Connect the transporters along the back. Like that. And then for this filter, we're going to take insanium comb, since that is what the bees produce, and this is the transporter that goes all the way back to our centrifuge, so that'll pull the comb out automatically. And actually something I wanted to do this episode as well, just another thing, you know, while I'm working on my bee infrastructure, is get this horrible pipe out of the middle. Yeah, it's definitely an eyesore having it in the middle like that, and it's in the way of if you're like trying to go up, you know, to the second story. And I was thinking about it, and we can actually just go ahead and run this guy down anywhere. But I was thinking, you know, we could go under the ground right here. I'll go down a couple levels. Need my shrinking device. Right there. Yep. Well, this guy, he's coming nifty a few times now. But we'll go ahead and dig out our path real quick. We're gonna come out somewhere. Oh, look at that. I could not have done that any better if I tried. I'll just go ahead and run this cable everywhere it wants to attach. We got to make sure it doesn't. Ooh, not like that. Like that. And like that. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm super excited for next episode to get started on revamping our create area. I can't wait to show you guys what I have in store for you, and until the next time, stay blessed.